into our bodies. Can I get an amen?
Yeah, amen.
Welcome
Amen.
to another session of Eve Speaks. Welcome, Genevieve Queenham, Coach Genevieve Queenham. Genevieve, go ahead
Thank
and
you.
introduce yourself. Tell the audience how you can help them. What are your qualifications? And then we will jump into the conversation tonight, which promises to be a robust conversation in light of the fact that we are nearing the end of the year. So go ahead, Genevieve. Thank you for joining as usual.
Oh, thank you, Angela, for inviting me. It's always a pleasure to be with our audience. So I'm Genevieve Kenham. I'm a Maxwell leadership coach and trainer and a Christian life and mental health coach. So tonight we're gonna see again how we have to take care of our soul in order to be the best version of ourselves. So we can
Thank
start,
you so
Angela.
much. I must tell the audience that unfortunately Dr. Brown is absent tonight. She hasn't been feeling very well. So we're just going to carry on with the show because the show must go on. And please pray for Dr. Brown. She's a valued asset here on our platform.
Yeah.
As you know, my name is Angela Gibson. I am a business owner providing technology solutions to the government. So you may be wondering, what are you doing talking about self-care for the soul? Here's what I've learned.
Yeah.
My professional development will only go as high as my personal development. So to me, the thinking that I must merge my self-care with my professional journey is just second nature. It's essential. They're one and the same.
Yeah.
A lot of times we're so busy trying to get to the next thing in our career, but we have neglected the development of the soul, the development of the self. Am I correct, Coach Genevieve?
It's so correct. And you know that this is even a concept that God teaches in the Bible. It said, prosper like your soul prospers. So that means that when your soul prosper, you may prosper in whatever in all your endeavor, you know? So
it's very much about the soul prospering, but also about everything else prospering as well. He puts them together, is your point. I'm having a little bit of a hard time hearing you. If you would turn up your sound, that would be great. So again, let us welcome you to another session of self-care for the soul. As you know, here on the eSpeaks platform, our cornerstone, the bedrock of the platform is to heal, aspire, and grow. We talk a lot about growth, but without taking care of the soul, there will be no growth. You see, they all kind of, talk to each other. They dovetail into each other because they lean on each other. They are the cornerstones. And we are your cheerleader, the eSpeaks team here. Please go ahead and ask any questions you have. Today, we're going to just do a little synopsis of the distortions that we have been discussing for several months now. As we are winding down this year, Coach Genevieve, tell us why you think that it's a good idea to kind of give a synopsis of all the distortions that we've been talking about.
yeah, it's a very good thing as we are at the end of the year. And we have been talking since I think now 2 or 3 months about different distortion. And when it comes to talk about the self-care for our soul, it is important to know that we need to take care of our soul if we want to manifest this well-being in our body, in our mind. We all know that when you don't feel well inside, it is something that everyone can see outside. So I believe in this principle that say that whatever triumph inside will triumph outside. So this is why, according to me, it's a very important thing at the end of the year to make a kind of summarize, a synopsis, and see all this distortion, all these topics we have covered during this year, and to see how we can take advantage of them to make the most for this new season and be grateful for having all these keys given during all these years by specialists just like Dr. Brown to help us, build a stronger inner person for our next goal for 2024. So
Absolutely. The last time we were with Dr. Brown, she talked about we were focused on should statements. And if you're like me, you've said this many times, I should do this and I should do that. And I think now is an appropriate time to really even revisit that conversation about shoulding, because the new year's coming and we're probably shooting on ourselves right now. I should have done this in 2023. Today's November 20th. This week was my birthday. I had a fabulous time. And I remember saying, I should have more experiences. I should be having new experiences. And sure enough, I planned a spur of the moment trip and went to Aruba for the first time. It was simply spectacular. I went to the bottom of the ocean. Huh?
Wow. I can guess so. Wow.
Yes, I took a submarine to the bottom of the ocean. I saw the majesty of God below. We went up to 130,000 feet below ground.
Wow.
My first time ever. I should have done that, and I sure did do it. You may be thinking to yourself, what should you be doing right now? Now's the time to make that assessment. I should get on the plane, and I did. I should get on the horse, and I did this past week for the first time. I should go see the flamingos, and I did. And it's so good when I'm no longer shooting about that, but I've actually done it. So I want to encourage our audience to consider, in light of self-care for the soul, what do you need to do? What should you be doing but that you haven't done? And since it's coming down to this time of the year, it's a good time to make a new start, a new decision that you're not going to just shoot on yourself. You're going to do what you need to do to take care of you. Doesn't that sound good, Genevieve?
It sounds very
good. Fabulous, doesn't it?
Yeah. And I definitely have to, and I have to know this, because these should statement are so important. The last time we were talking about it, because it's a good thing to have, goals and to say that I should do that, I should do that. But as we discuss it with Dr. Brown, it should not become a distortion. It should not be something that will, become a block and something that will harm our well-being. As long as we know that it's good for us to set some goals and to say I should do that at least once in my life. It's better when it stay in the sense of a goal or a dream, but when it become a distortion, like something that really affect our normal functioning, then we really have to pay attention of that.
Yeah, saying I should do something is not necessarily a bad thing. It's when it starts to impair our functioning. It's a good point to bring out. Because if I didn't say I should go to Aruba, I probably would never go. But if I do that in every area of my life and just never come through for myself, don't show up for myself, then it becomes an impairment, so to speak. I get stuck shooting on myself. I saw a quote a few weeks ago that I just want to reiterate in light of the fact that we're talking about self-care for the soul. Because I think intuitively, we know we should take care of our souls. We know it's important. And if you don't know it's important, then we can talk about your awareness, right? Because that's a big part of it. If we're not aware that we need to take care of our souls, maybe we should talk about that first. And I know that we've talked about in the past how awareness is being able to step aside from ourselves and observe ourselves in any situation. That is the difference between us and the animals. We're able to
Yeah.
to think about what we're thinking about. I've been actually practicing that, observing myself as I'm interacting with someone, stepping aside. It's very enlightening, actually, to watch yourself in action. Have you ever done that, Genevieve? Sounds a little
Yes,
crazy.
that's that's a good exercise,
Yes.
actually. Yeah.
Yeah, watching myself as I'm talking to my husband, watching myself as I'm interacting with my children, like someone, like I'm in the corner of the roof looking down at myself in the situation. Oh my goodness. It's an awareness that I didn't realize that I could really cultivate and use to my advantage as I continue on this growth journey. And certainly as we strive to take care of our souls, having this awareness is so critical.
Yeah.
And this particular quote drives this back to, back straight to my heart, because it says many people are eager to change their circumstances,
Mhm.
but they are not willing to change themselves, and therefore they remain bound. And so that means to me that if I'm not willing to take the time, if you're not willing to take the time to learn what it means to be aware so that you can take care of your soul,
Yes,
2024 will show up and you'll be bound
exactly.
still. And
That will
that's not what you're going to do, right? Because that's not you, because you're here in this conversation.
exactly. I mean,
That
when
won't be. Repeat what you
when
said,
when
Genevieve.
I said when we remain stuck in the
Mm-hmm.
time, it's I think it's the worst disease. It's remind me the story of Mr. Henry in the book of John Maxwell, talking about the 15 laws of growth. This man who has an surgery at the time where the surgery was not that he had the brain surgery, but at the
Mm-hmm.
time where well surgery was not that, you know, um, the things we have now, and the surgery went well, but after that he lost his memory. So he was
Mm.
stuck in time. He was not able to remember what he does the minute before. He was living, he was in very good health, but he was not able to remember anything. So he was stuck in time. And as he was stuck in time, he was not able to change anything in his life because
Mm.
everything was a continuous restart.
Wow.
Nothing could grow in his life. He couldn't grow himself because he couldn't build on something. He couldn't build the future based on what he has in the present.
Mm.
So it is so important what you said, because being aware of something and being able, I mean, it is an honor to have the chance to change our future based on what we know today. I think that
Absolutely.
the only purpose of today is to give us the opportunity to change tomorrow.
Mm.
Someone said, if you don't use what you have today to change your future, what did you need tomorrow for?
Whoa. Yes. Powerful.
Yeah.
Powerful.
So I think that, as you said, it's a time of Thanksgiving. I mean, we have this beautiful opportunity to get this awareness and use it to build something better for us tomorrow. Let's say that, wow, I learned so many things during our webinar with Dr. Brown and you and with the other guests we used to have. Like every topic we covered, after that, I was thinking about, okay, I have to look at myself better, make, you know, I have to be more aware of this and this and see if those are maybe issues I have, and
Mm-hmm.
how those things can have to be addressed if I want to grow. So yeah,
Absolutely.
tomorrow is important. So we only need tomorrow if we intend to do something with what we have today.
Otherwise, what do you need tomorrow for? I thought that was
Yeah.
that's so that is such a sobering
Yeah.
idea. Welcome, Patricia. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for joining us. Um, that just to continue with what you're saying, Genevieve, the idea that in order to see different fruits,
Mm.
we must sow and have different roots. I saw that quote recently, and I thought, we want a change in our lives. We want different circumstances, but we're not willing
Mm-hmm.
to sow different seeds, to
Mm-hmm.
irrigate the root, to
Yeah.
stir things up. That's what we're trying to do for 2024.
Yep.
But we can't do that. That can't happen. It will all just be theory and good ideas if we do not commit and be deliberate about knowing ourselves so that we can grow ourselves.
Yeah.
And that's the whole point of the Eve Speaks platform. I was recently reflecting on the day when I tried to give a speech and I fainted.
Really?
That's how Eve Speaks platform was born. I tried to give a speech and I fainted. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't. This has got to go.
Really?
Oh my gosh, it was madness. I was trying to give a speech in front of I don't know, 40 entrepreneurs. I was a part of the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Women's program, women who they're trying to help to develop their business back in 2016. I got up to give the speech with the clicker and I'm trying to do the presentation, but my heart is palpitating. My whole being is just turning against me from anxiety. And that moment I decided that I cannot be ruled by anxiety when it comes to speaking. And so that single decision, paved the way to the Eve Speaks platform, because I decided not only am I going to learn to speak, I'm going to speak on camera, I'm going to speak in front of a crowd, and I'm still on the journey. But I remember when I first started to try to speak on camera, I couldn't even get the words out, even though it was only me in the room.
Mm-hmm.
That's how much growth has happened because of a single decision. And that's what I'm inviting you into, this growth journey that says, I may be this way today, but I don't have to be that way tomorrow. Actually, I don't even have to be the same way 10 minutes from now. I have the power, the capability, and the opportunity, for which I am very grateful in light of this Thanksgiving season, to change. And I think if more of us become grateful more than anything for this opportunity to change during this period, as you reflect on Thanksgiving, be thankful for the opportunity to grow, to change, to become, and to not allow our history to stifle our promise, our possibility, and our potential. Am I not preaching the word? Yes, I see you now, Genevieve. Your camera is working. Finally, what happened?
Wow. Well, I turn it off and I turn it. I think I had another app who was using my camera. I noticed it and then.
Actually, that's happened to me too.
Yeah.
Promise, possibility, and potential. See that? The camera believed me.
Yeah, you're right. That's a good testimony. What you say then,
The camera said, I will not hide anymore. I will.
I have to, I have
do.
to show it. Yeah. So what you said is
it's like I'm not going to shoot at myself anymore. I should be showing her, but I'm not doing it. Okay, it's time to change. No more shooting.
I think that I'm 100% agree with what you said. This is maybe why my camera start working again too. So what you said is so important because I think one of the assets of Ibis Bay is that the opportunity we have to uh, discuss life topics to the light of the word of the scripture too.
Yes.
Because one of the important things in life is self-awareness, to know who you are
Mm-hmm.
and what you are called for. I think that once you become aware of that, you have this natural um, ability to understand when you are not in the right position, you are not in in your right, if I can say that. At the moment you know that the Lord give you authority on everything and that you were called, you meant to lead and to shine, to enlighten the world.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever you found yourself in a situation where you don't leave those promises, you may ask yourself, why do I'm not able to shine? Why do I'm not able to share my potential, to show my potential, to grow it and to share it and to let my light shine? I
Mm.
think that this is what happened with you because after that, maybe someone else would say, oh, you know what, public speaking is not for me and give up. But when you are aware of who you are in the Lord, you know
Mm.
what is your inheritance in the Lord. You know that
The
you are,
inheritance. I love that.
yes,
Yes.
you are the light. This is your identity. You are
Yes.
the soul. So that means that something cannot happen without you, right? And then you come somewhere and at least you feel like you have been robbed because this was your moment and this moment have been robbed by anxiety.
Hijacked.
Hijacked, exactly. That's the right
Bamboozled.
when you, when you come out of this moment, you should think like, no, I will no longer let this happen again.
No.
So I will make a decision and start working on myself to, to reach this goal and to change because our
And that's
lives,
exactly what
yeah,
shooting does to us. It hijacks and it bamboozles, it
yeah,
hinders, it impedes, it suffocates, it stifles, it
mm,
depletes. It's a thief.
exactly.
God says, I don't remember the scripture, I think maybe in Timothy, I've given you the spirit of power,
And
of
not a
love,
yeah,
and of self-discipline, and a sound mind, I think it says. Man,
yeah.
I was feeling a
And
little
it,
crazy that day though.
you have
But I was like, no,
received,
I'm gonna claim. I love that. I'm gonna claim my inheritance, and that's what we have to decide to do as a people. Because God
yeah,
has. I mean, when I went to the bottom of the ocean this week and I saw all the things in the bottom of the ocean, I said, "Oh my God,
mm,
how dare me not believe that God can work out things in my parenting, in my communications with my husband, in communication with my employees and my friends. Why do I it doesn't make sense. When I
yeah,
look at them in Aruba, I get to see the majesty. It's not like he's not here in America, but the buildings hide his majesty. But over
yeah,
there, all I see is skies and blue, blue, blue waters. And then below the ocean, oh my God, it's teeming with the finger and the majesty and the creativity and
yeah,
the power of the Almighty. And I'm like, and I'm part of this design. How
mhm,
dare me shoot on myself?
yeah. And it's free,
And it's
you
free.
may, yeah.
It's free.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's just free because just to say it when I insist on this fact that it is free, is that it is given to every one of us. We just have to lean for it at least because
That's
so many
right.
good things in this life. If it was a man's deeds, maybe you won't be able to see it because maybe it will be at a price that some people
Can't
will
afford.
even never, yeah, never. But all these beautiful things are, you as you said, you can see them in the ocean in New York and everywhere. But all these things are here to show that you just have to lift your eyes and watch at the sunset and see how
Mm.
look at the weather, how they change.
I'm telling you, I was laying on the beach and I my spirit, all of me just wanted to bust out in praise. As a matter of fact, I posted a picture. I was just like, I got up early to see the sunset, the sunrise, and I was just so mesmerized by the awesomeness. And the words feel so inadequate. You know, it feels so puny to describe the power and the majesty and the beauty of what I
Hallelujah.
experienced.
Yeah.
So I'm saying all this to say, to remind the audience tonight, no more shooting on yourself. There are many distortions that we can cover and remind you of, but I think the thing that want to really regurgitate and rehearse is this thing, because a lot of people have been we shoot on ourselves constantly, and we don't reach our potential. We don't get to our altitude, and we self-sabotage because of these distortions that impede accurate thinking, and we don't feed our souls as a result. And so we stay stuck. But not you, right? Not you, because you're listening to this conversation. And I'm inviting you to click on the link, which Jay, if you would post it, because I think if you schedule your consultation with us to start you on your journey, to get to know you so you can grow you, then that is the beginning of the end of your self-sabotage. Wouldn't you say, Coach Genevieve?
Yeah.
The beginning of the end of your self-sabotage. That is the goal. That's the reason we're having these conversations. We're going to keep having them because I think it's so critical. So many people believe that they should be so much more, including myself, because I'm still on the journey too. And we don't reach it because we are stuck. And sometimes we don't even know we're stuck. Have you been stuck and not know that you're stuck, Genevieve?
Oh, yes.
I've been stuck. I didn't know I was stuck. Heck, I may be stuck in something right now and don't even know I'm stuck. So that's why I have to keep talking about it.
Yeah, I think that we can be stuck without knowing that we're stuck, but we have, as you just said, so many things around us that can show us that we are stuck. And I think that I don't know, but I don't know if we have ever covered something like that talk about comparison.
What's it called?
Comparison.
Oh, the comparison.
I don't know, but it is
comparison the thief of all joy. And it's not a distortion, but it's definitely well, it is a distortion, but it's not a cognitive distortion per se.
Yeah. And I think that we have the opportunity to see around us that our life is not where we are, where we should be. And I think that sometimes it's more comfortable for.
She's stuck. She's stuck right now. Genevieve, you're stuck right now. It's so funny.
For people to stay in there.
Genevieve, let me tell you, you were stuck just now, okay? We're talking about being unstuck, but you were just stuck in the camera. So you got to say the last two sentences again.
Oh, really? Yeah, I was plugging the cable. So I was like that. Some people may be stuck without knowing that they are stuck, but they have a lot of example around them to show them that something is not going that right in their life. But we have also this other category of people who, who choose to stay in their situation, knowing that something doesn't work, but it's more comfortable for them because of fear. They don't dare the move. They don't dare the change. So I think that it's something that we can understand, but what I can share with the audience today is that they are not alone to make this essential move. They may sometimes just, ask someone like if you speak partners to partner with them to help them make this move.
Right. It's a
And
good point that you make that sometimes people don't know that they're stuck because they don't have the awareness, but then sometimes they do know they're stuck, but they'd rather stay that way because it's comfortable.
yeah,
I forgot about that aspect of it.
yeah, it's
So true.
comfortable.
And the comfort zone, my friends, is always the wrong zone.
Always the wrong zone, for sure. Always the wrong zone. And
Always the wrong zone. Oh my goodness. Let me tell you, while I was on the plane this week, I was holding on to people and I was scared. I can't carry on like this every time I get on the plane. I rarely get on planes because I really don't think that we should be in the air. But there was no other way to see the flamingos. And, I think about the fact that if I stayed in New York City, I would
Mhm.
not have experienced what I experienced in Aruba because it's
For sure.
comfortable to just hang out here in Oakwood, in Staten
Yeah,
Island.
yeah, for
Nice
sure.
and comfortable. There's no turbulence, there's no
Hmm.
jittering. I mean, the plane was shaking at some points, and the pilot
Yeah.
was telling us, oh, there's turbulence for the next 20 minutes, and it's going to start in 15 minutes. I'm like, oh my, the more he talks, the more anxious I was like, oh my God, he's got to stop. I was like, God, get me off this plane. My poor friend Wendy, she was just like, everything is going to be fine. Remember, a big angel is holding the plane. I was like, girl, be quiet.
Yeah.
um, but the point is, I left my comfort zone to do that, to have that experience. And when we got off the flight, she was like, so was it worth, was all of that angst worth the experience? And the answer was unequivocally, was without question.
Hmm.
Yes, it was
Yeah.
worth it. And that's what the growth journey is. The self-care for the soul that we know is going to take you to growth. And it's not a destination, okay? There's no thing that we're telling you that you're going to achieve and then you stop growing. It's just an ongoing experience because that's where I think joy lies, the effort and the striving to continue to become, not because we're going to get to a destination, but because we're continuously striving.
Mhm.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah. While you were talking, I was thinking about the process of change of a caterpillar into a butterfly,
Mm-hmm.
or the process of change of the pearl. The pearl in the shell.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, When you learn the process, how the pearl is formed in the shell, you will see that the process is something very painful
Mm-hmm.
because the shell is something that is should be very close like this.
Mm-hmm.
And when something like the sand, for example, come inside the shell, it's create a kind of friction
Like a
that is
rupture.
exact, that is very painful. And
Ooh.
because of this friction, the pearl will be formed inside the shell. And when you open it, it's a treasure to find a pearl in this shell, you know. But it doesn't happen uh, overnight. It's a process. It's just like the caterpillar that become a butterfly. Someone said if you want to find the honey, you have to face the bees.
Ooh. Lord
You know,
child.
some Christian like to say that God say that He will lead us to a land where we will have milk and honey. Someone say that wherever you find milk, you will find the uh, the sheep with their
The
how can I
horns.
say, the corns, and that if you want to take the meals, you have to face the corns. But wherever there is honey, there's also bees. So
Wow.
yeah, so I think
Face
that
down them
we
bees.
well, yes, I think that what is important is to identify what is our comfort zone or what become our
Mm,
comfort zone, because it is changing. Your stretching zone will become your comfort zone. So you
mm.
have to identify when it becomes your comfort zone. If you if you're intentional about growing, to leave it now and to move, and if I can say, chase another growth zone,
You know,
another.
that's very interesting that you said that because it's true. I have found that I have stretched and grown, and it looks like I'm doing really great, and I was. But then that becomes a comfort zone because it's no longer challenging me. So
Exactly.
I'm no longer stretching,
Exactly.
and it only is useful as I continue to stretch. So then I need to find a new zone to grow,
Exactly.
a new
You
stretch
need.
zone.
Yep.
I love that. I
Yeah.
love listening to John Maxwell. I learned so much from him.
Yeah, we need to identify that, and some people,
Absolutely.
call um discomfort zone that, oh no, I'm careful, but it's not to be. I don't think that it is a question of being careful. We need to identify those distortions we have, those fears. We have to identify them and face them, and just decide to have a leap of faith and do something new for our life.
So if I were to put it in some kind of a, you know, sequence, the first thing would be to become aware. Because if you don't become aware, and how do you
Mm,
get aware?
mhm.
That's where the teachability and the coachability becomes essential because the humility is missing. If the humility, I pray about this a lot. God, I want massive humility.
Yeah,
it's a very dangerous prayer because you know
yeah.
how God works. You are like you said, if you want the honey, you got to face the bees.
Yeah.
So I get scared. I'm like, okay, God, I'm praying this, but I'm really scared about praying this prayer. Like we have these conversations, guys. This conversation. I mean, I know it sounds really holy, but God, I'm really scared, and if I can
Can I
avoid
have
the
some?
bees, then
Yeah, can I have some honey in a bottle? I don't want to face the bees.
spare me the bees. But it's such a powerful spiritual principle.
Hmm.
Um, that I have to be willing to allow God to teach me through pain. It's something I'm actually internalizing more in this season of my life. That pain is one of God's greatest tools. We
Mm-hmm.
all run from pain, right? I mean, I know all kinds of pain. But the more as I'm studying out the scriptures, I'm seeing, and I'm reading this book called Grace Calls. And it's one woman, this woman, I went to a seminar this past week before I went to Aruba.
Hmm.
And these different women were sharing about infidelity in their marriages, multiple infidelities, um, just heart-wrenching stories of betrayal and pain and suffering, and how they have clung to God. And the amazing part of it was that their husbands came with them to the seminar to share how much they recognize how much they hurt their wives and how much they now want God to transform them. The amazing thing to me about that was that they actually showed up. These men
Hmm.
showed up. They were on
Yep.
stage with their wives. And I was like, oh my gosh. Most
Yeah.
of the time we want to run from such embarrassment and
Hmm.
shame, but they were willing to humble themselves, such massive humility because they wanted to grow. They didn't want they one of the guys said, I want to become the man God wants me to be.
Hmm.
Wow. And some of these guys were seeing they confess prostitutes, being with prostitutes, um, strip
Wow.
clubs,
This is what I call
multiple adulteries.
transformation.
Huh?
Yeah, this is what I call the genuine transformation. You know the scripture that said, I no longer live, but Christ lives inside of me. It is exactly what it means. Because you no longer care about your image, your
Mm,
self-image. You only care about how Christ will be glorified. And if I can talk about what Christ has done in my life to change all the mess I was, to change me from this mess to this blessing today for my wife. It is that's I mean that is one of the I know some couples where they're better they are fighting because nobody wants to take the responsibility to say I have done something not good. And
Mm,
actually I think that this is a good time to think about to share things like this, because there is no change without awareness.
right.
There is no change without pain. And
No
in
change without humility.
yes, without humility. And how
Woo!
to get this awareness, I think it's one of the basic point, is to be able to accept your condition and to be willing to change it.
Mm.
I think
I mean, and to see how these women were taking the pain, and as it, even though some of these things happened years ago, they tell these stories over and over again to help other people, and the room is full of
mm-hmm,
people. And
mm-hmm,
she's, one woman was, still crying, but then they're like, but now my freedom, they have such incredible freedom because they have taken care of their souls. They're
mm-hmm,
doing the self-care for the soul. So it's not even about their husbands anymore.
mm-hmm,
It's about how is God using this pain to transform me
me.
so that I
Yeah,
can become the next best version of me. I mean,
yeah.
I was this week was just in last week was just incredible. Between Aruba and that conference, I was just like, Lord, there's so much that I need to learn. There's so much that I am learning. There's so
Mm,
much transformation yet to be done. And in that realization is so much joy and so much like, God, I'm not worthy. Like literally.
mm,
And that journey is what we are encouraging you to join us on here on this platform. We
mm,
are your biggest cheerleaders for sure. So the link is now being shared. You can click on it for your consultation, and we can have a preliminary conversation about where you are right now, because unless you know where you are, you can't know where you want to go. So let's
mm.
have that conversation as a year winds down so that you don't start 2024, you know,
Mm,
like a circus, okay? No more
mm,
clown show. Let's start 2024 off on the right foot, because these distortions, if we let them, they will keep us stuck. These cognitive distortions that we don't even realize are distortions. But that's why we're going to have the conversation, because we're going to work on that awareness.
mm,
To say that, sometimes the humility shows up like this: I don't know that I don't know. And you have to be aware of that it's a possibility that you don't know what you should know in order to
mm,
grow.
mhm,
And that in and of itself is humility, because sometimes if we don't feel like there's anything wrong, we won't go for help, right?
mhm, mm.
But
Yeah.
how many of us have known someone that goes to the doctor just because they're just doing a regular checkup and they find that they have a lump?
Mm,
They thought they were fine, but then there was something on their lung, some spot.
mm.
This is why it's so important to get the checkup for the soul, because you
Exactly.
don't know what you don't know.
Yep,
Isn't that true? It's now 9:51,
it's true.
and we're going to wind down right now, unless Coach Genevieve, you have a few words that you want to say. But I'm very grateful that we had this conversation tonight. I felt like it was very
Yes.
helpful
So
for my soul. I
yeah,
want to wish you happy
I
Thanksgiving.
think
Go ahead.
the word I will share to close is that we are heading to a new year, and it's the time where we made a lot of new goals and take a lot of resolutions. And I think that um, the year change, but it won't mean it will not mean something it will not mean for you something if you don't change. If you bring your old self in this new year will looks like the former year.
Mm.
So what can change this new year? What can give, what can empower and really give a sense to all your new resolution is to bring a new you in a new year. And I really, and maybe finish by saying that the Lord is worthy of our thanksgiving because He gave us this occasion to share our experiences, to talk about His
Mm-hmm.
wonderful deeds. And this can be a departure point to build something new. I mean, when I listen to your experience that you have for the last weeks, when I see all the things we share the whole year, I mean, I'm grateful, and I'm like, I have enough things in my hand to start something new for this new year, but also to build my new uh the new me I want to see in 2024. So let's build our new version.
Yes. Yes, yes. Thank you so much for joining. Happy Thanksgiving. Eat for
Thank
both of us, because I want to stay thin.
you.
And enjoy. Thank you so much, Coach Genevieve. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you, Angela.
And remember, you are worth it. Take care of your souls.